State, this is my team. You know what that means. This is for the black and blue that I bleed. This is for the chance to bring home that ring. But everybody gonna doubt this. So far there ain't been another way around it. We bring heat to the game each week. They just say we ain't got what it takes, we ain't bout it. Well, y'all can just keep saying that we ain't gonna make it, but at the end of the day, this will be the Panthers nation. You know, this ain't a game to us major players at every angle that you can think of. That's why you hate us. Get out the way of greatness. You can look at our faces and see the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to create this. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but you can save it. Cause even on the darkest of days, you know we're always gonna find a way to tell them what we gonna do. We gotta
All right. Hey, what's going on? It's a beautiful Sunday morning. It's game day. It's game day. Shout out to Emerson L. What's going on, man? Finally did a stream that you could catch up on, man, live. You know what I mean? It's about time, man. You've been watching all these vlogs because you're from a different country, but welcome on in, though. What's up, Quacks? How you doing, man? Shout out to him, too. I haven't seen him in this chat in a while. It's good to see these guys, man. It's good to see this. You know, we're getting ready for that Seattle Seahawks game today. So before we get started and get into this content, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so on YouTube. And don't forget to check out the Facebook group page. Keep pounding in all caps for in-game posts, polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, as well as schedules for the channel, streams, and the fantasy football news. Alright. Let's get started, folks. I said I wasn't going to do a stream, but I changed my mind. Because I'm up. You know, it's early. I'm feeling good on this Sunday morning. The game's at 4:25 this afternoon on the East Coast of the U.S. You know, plus, I just kind of wanted to do this, man. I'm good till 9:45 this morning on the East Coast, so I can stream up until then. And if you guys want more content after that, I could possibly do a stream after 2. 2 on the East Coast. So before game time, up until 15 minutes of game time, so I could set up for the Zoom watch party. But yeah, we could do it, man. We could do it if you guys need more time for content, or I feel like I didn't cover everything. So this Seattle team, let's take a look at what we're doing with here, because I really do believe this is a trap game for us. We can win this game, but I feel like it's a trap game. 7-5 is Seattle's record, and I'm gonna quickly kind of go through what I'm seeing here on this. Give me 1 second. I'll put it up on the screen. What's up, Spirit of Sports? How you doing? Shout out to you. We'll just make sure it's up on the screen. There we go. And done. All right. So let's quickly kind of go through this win-loss column for Seattle and see how legit these guys are. You know, How legit is this record that they have? Because I've had questions all year. You know, because you beat the Broncos in the first week 17-16. You know, and that Broncos defense has been consistent all year. It's been a number 4 defense all year. That hasn't really changed. So they managed to put up 17 against it. Not bad. Alright, so the 49ers. Defense is for real. You know, we found that out ourselves. So, they held them to 7 points in that loss. Not a surprise. Seahawks then played Atlanta at home. 27-23. Now that looks like a typical Atlanta score, right? You know, if you're looking at the Falcons scores all year, that sounds about right. They got a few more points than you would have expected them to get. Maybe 24 is the average for the year, but 27, you know, early on is not a surprise. So then you got the Lions. Now, this is a bit of a surprise, but at the same time, it's not. If you consider how many points they actually put up against the Lions defense, that's not a surprise. 48 points. The Lions defense was worst in the league. Absolute dead last. They were giving up 40 points a game. I mean, it's obvious. So, but that Seattle defense gave up 45. Yeah, they gave up 45, and they got 48. So what happened to Seattle's defense? They had to recover a little bit, and that recovery process went into the Saints game, where they gave up 39 points. You know, it rolled over into the next week. But they managed to score 32 that week against the Saints, but it wasn't enough. That zone read of Mariota kind of ran them over. Is what it seems like to me. The Saints had all their weapons at that point. Alright, so let's move on to the Cardinals game. This is where their defense finally straightened out. And they only gave up 9. And the offense put up 19. But it was an uninspiring effort. You know what I mean? 19 against the Cards. I mean, average effort right there. You're not impressed. Nobody's impressed by that. Okay, so the Chargers game. Offense puts up 37. Defense gives up 23. Good win against the Chargers. That's a solid win right there. That cements their reputation right there against a decent opponent. And it's a good start. They got an easy rollover win with the Giants. Played the Cards again. Easy rollover win with them. And then they lost to the Bucs 21-16. Now remember, this is a Bucs team that barely got over 20. This is a Bucs team that hasn't gotten over 20 points average all year. And Seattle's offense got absolutely crushed by that Buccaneers offense. By 16. 16 is all Seattle could put up. Only 16 against the Bucs. Now I wonder if that Buccaneers defense was better than everybody expected it to be at that point. And that's why. So that raised a lot of questions that week. Moving on to the Raiders game. Now the Raiders, as of recently, have been putting up 40 points a game. And I don't know where they found this newfound offense of theirs. But now they're putting up 40 points a game and actually beat Seattle 40-34. And the offense did their job, but the defense failed to do their job. You know, you're seeing these scores on here, and you're thinking, okay, why didn't Seattle's defense step up against the Raiders and chop that down to about a fourth of that, right? So that they could be able to win. All right, so moving on to the Rams. 27-23. Win over the Rams. Now, here's the strange part. The Rams have been flaky all year too. So, this is a very unpredictable and unstable Seattle team that we're facing today. And I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm going to be real with you. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this stream, is because I started looking at that schedule this morning. I said, hold up. I don't particularly like this, because, you know, it's flaky. They went on like a 4-game winning streak and then a 2-game losing streak to teams that they should not lose to. And then they beat the Rams. What are they going to do against us? Not much. Because we know who we are. Here's the thing. We know who we are. And that's what's going to give us an advantage today. We know what our defense is. We know who our defense is. We have an identity. We're in the top 5 on defense. So whatever offense they come up with, we're going to limit that thing down to the only the double digits. So to be in the teens range. Now the question is, what is our offense going to do? That's the big $1 million question. Because we don't know. Here's the second $1 million question that we're going to be asking. Can Sam Darnold sustain 2 straight games of sustained success? Is this dude for real? And that's what we're going to find out today. You know, we've been looking at Sam during the Broncos game against that top 10 defense of the Broncos, and he looks solid. He looks solid, man. I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of Sam today. And that's the interesting thing. If I knew what to expect, I could tell you what type of offense we would be running and whether we got a certified win or not. But right now it's about 50-50 until we know what Sam is doing. So we'll get a good look at him in the first half, and then that should probably set the tone for the rest of the game. If it looked anything like that game against Denver, we got ourselves a win. You know, and that's the thing, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we don't have a chance for the rest of the year. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. I could show you that we have a chance. I could show you we have a chance in a path to the NFC Championship game. I can show you that right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah, tell me, well, you're welcome to look at it anyway. But we're about to show you. Alright, so here's the interesting part. If all goes well, we should win the division. It's going to be a tight race at the end. Us. Alright, so we win against Seattle. San Fran beats the Bucks. Because I got a feeling that San Fran defense is better than the Bucks offense, man. It just is. It is. Because the Bucks are not putting up more than 20 points. So I'll see it. Okay, you'll check out the YouTube video after we lose to Seattle today. All right. We're not losing to Seattle today, man. You got to get that negativity out of here, bro. Got to get that negativity out of here. We still got a chance. I'm showing you why. All right, so the biggest game this week, the biggest two games outside of our scope, is that Tampa Bay game, and I would say the Vikings and Lions, because here's the reason why. If the Lions make the playoffs, they can cause a lot of chaos and screw a lot of things up. So we don't want them in with that $1 million offense of theirs. That's going to really screw us up royally. So my question is, do we want the Vikings to win or do we want the Lions to win? Now, according to my map, I don't think it will affect it, but we'll see. Yeah, it shouldn't affect it because it only changes the record. The Vikings currently hold the second seed. If we do lose any of these games besides the Lions games, we are out. And that's fine with me. You know, wherever we end up at is wherever we end up at. I trust Scott Fitterer to handle the draft picks, you know, so, you know, thing is, man, we're safe either way. The main goal here is to get Steve Wilks hired as the main head coach. That's the goal here. And we take this record as far as it'll go, you know, and I'm willing to sacrifice draft picks for that. I am. I am absolutely willing. Because without a head coach like Steve Wilks to coach these guys, what's the point of even drafting any of these people? You could draft 100,000 of these players, and if you don't have a coach that can coach them properly, what's the point? You just wasted picks. That's the point I've been trying to make like all week, and people don't want to hear it. You know, so I do believe in Steve Wilks that much that I am willing to sacrifice draft picks in order to make sure he gets hired here. Now, a lot of people don't agree with that, and that's all right. If you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. I respect that, you know. And we'll go over that in a second, you know, but I kind of want to map this out for you, what our playoffs picture would look like, you know, because we can make it. We've got Dallas beating Houston. That's obvious. That's a lock. I've already mapped that one out. Eagles beating the Giants. That's pretty much a lock. That doesn't affect us for now. But yeah, San Fran beating the Bucks. I do see that happening because that Seattle that San Fran defense is tough, man. That's a tough defense. That's probably the best defense in the league right now. And they'll shut Tampa down to about 14 points probably. You know, it is Tom Brady after all. He'll probably sneak a touchdown in at the last minute. But I honestly do see that happening. So we need 2 Tampa Bay losses. We need 1 more Atlanta loss. And I believe we need 1 more Saints loss to make this happen. Don't check me on the Saints losses yet. Because I need to double check that. on the Saints. But I am very, very confident about the Bucs and the Falcons right now. I have mapped that one out. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and fill out the rest of these here for this week. I've got the Steelers in a surprise win over Baltimore this week. I've got the Titans winning. I've got the Dolphins winning. Patriots beating the Cards. Honestly, that game could go either way. Doesn't really affect us that much. The three that do affect us are this Minnesota and Lions game, Eagles and Giants, and the Tampa and San Francisco game. Those are the three that directly impact us this week. So, with a little help from San Francisco, Tampa will take their first loss. Now, my question is, will the Lions defense stand up against that Vikings offense? That's been the question all year. It's going to be a shoot. It is going to be a straight shootout. And I don't know who's going to win that thing. If you consider the Lions average so far, I'd probably bet on the Lions offense more so than the Vikings offense to get that done. But Vikings defense might shut them down for about 2 or 3 drives, but Lions should win that game. All right, so let's go on. Week 15. And we're continuing this mapping process here. Of course, we beat the Steelers. We got the Bills beating the Dolphins. We've got the Ravens in a surprise win over the Browns. We've got the Vikings beating the Colts. San Francisco beating Seattle. Dallas beating Jacksonville. That Jets and Lions game will be an interesting one. We'll come back to that. So we got the Broncos defense versus, that's a win for the Broncos. Raiders offense versus New England. Yeah, Raiders win that one. Come on. Titans and Chargers. That'll be an interesting one. I'm going to say Chargers in a surprise win there. Because it's been a weird year. So you just don't know what to expect there. Washington the Giants. I've got Washington. I've got Green Bay beating the Rams. Although, the Rams now have Baker Mayfield. And they did play really well last week with Baker Mayfield. So, that one became more of a 50-50 balance out. But can Baker do it twice? I don't know. That's the big question. I don't know. It is Rodgers after all. Don't ever count out Rodgers. Bengals beat the Buccaneers for their second loss. So Tampa now has their 2 losses because they're not beating the Bengals. There's no way. They're going to get slammed by them just like we did. So that's your 2 Bengals losses. So week 15, I expect us to take the lead with those games going on. Now here's going to be the tiebreaker. We got Atlanta and the Saints. Atlanta and the Saints. Now, who wins this one? That's what's going to determine who has the lead in Week 15. If the Falcons win, we keep it. If the Saints win, we keep it. So, in Week 15, we've got the lead. I don't expect anything to go differently here. Now, but that Falcons and Saints game is going to be a big, a big deal later on. It's going to be a big deal. That's probably the deal breaker right there. So I want you to keep a very, very close eye on that game right there in Week 15. You'll see why in a few minutes. Eagles beat the Bears. Chiefs beat the Texans. I mean, that's obvious. Come on. Now, I'm going to put my faith in the Jets to beat the Lions here, because that will ineffectually knock the Lions out and cause less trouble for us later on. That's what I'm hoping will happen. What time is the live stream this evening? You talking about after the game? Probably sometime after 10, probably at night. I haven't said as far as when I'm gonna start. But sometime after 10 for sure. But you guys are following this, right? So, we roll into Week 16. Jets beat the Jags. Now, if we lose to the Lions, that puts Tampa back in first. Now, here's the thing, though. Tampa is playing the Cards, and that's a 50-50 game there. Because here's the deal. The Cards are kind of wishy-washy this year. You can't tell whether that's going to be in favor of the Bucs or in favor of the Cards. So I don't know. Here's the thing with the Cards. They have a 1-6 home record and a 3-2 road record. So that Cardinals offense is 21st in the league. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's a Bucs win right there. But I don't know for sure. Now that's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, because Atlanta and the Saints are going to sneak up there and do some damage. So, Chargers win over the Colts. Rams beat the Broncos. I think will happen. We got the Dolphins over the Green Bay Packers. We've got the Steelers over the Raiders. We've got San Fran over Washington. Will probably happen because of that defense. Got the Bengals over the Pats. That'll happen. Vikings over the Giants. Chiefs over the Seahawks. Bills over the Bears. Now, we get down to a few key games, and Week 16 is where it really comes down to the wire here. This is where things really get complicated. And you got a few key games here. You've got Atlanta versus Baltimore. You got the Saints versus the Browns. You got the Bucs versus the Cards. Eagles versus the Cowboys. Those are the four you want to pay attention to, because those directly impact our playoff path. Specifically, those four. I'm not worried about the rest of them. I could care less about the rest of them. Those four specifically impact us. So, this is where things start to get a little complicated, because the Browns will beat the Saints. Considering the Saints' performance on last week, that was oof. If you can't even beat Tom Brady and the Bucs right now, who aren't even scoring 20 points, come on, man. Come on, man. Saints might just be out of this picture sooner than they think they will. Which leaves Atlanta. Now, this Atlanta and Baltimore game is crucial right here. Because I do believe that Atlanta could upset Baltimore. But it's a 50-50 game right there. It really is. Atlanta just put in their newest quarterback. And that's why I say this might be possible. But they have a terrible road record, 1-5. Now, keeping that in mind, I'm going to pick the Ravens. Record for Atlanta. So, that brings us to the Cowboys and Eagles game. Now, why this is important is seeding. Notice that the Eagles have first seed, Cowboys have fifth seed. We want the Eagles to be fifth seed. So we face them in the first round. So what we want is a Cowboys win. Now, will that happen? Probably. Dak Prescott is back in Dallas, and he's making some noise in Dallas. So, yes, that is possible. Alright, so moving on to Week 17. Key games here, Atlanta and Cards. Us against the Bucs, of course. You've got the Saints and Eagles. And also the Cowboys and Titans. Of course, the Cowboys will win that game. They'll write the record right there. And Eagles will most likely beat the Saints at this point. Falcons, by this point, will have their quarterback established. And they should be able to beat the Cards. Shouldn't be a problem. Baltimore this time is going to beat the Steelers at home. Because you don't want to face Baltimore at home during the playoff push. You don't want to do that. That's a bad, bad time. Alright, so Lions against the Bears. Lions win. Now that puts them in the playoff picture at the 7th seed. But week 18, they could get knocked out. Alright, so you got the Jags over the Texans. You got the Chiefs over the Broncos. Dolphins over the Pats. Now that might be one game that the Colts could win. Maybe. I'm going to bet on the Giants. But with the Giants win there over the Colts, that knocks out Detroit out of that 7th seed. See why that game is important now? I didn't mention it before, but now I am. Alright, so Cleveland over Washington. Probably. We'll kind of keep an eye on that one to see where that one goes, but it doesn't directly impact us at first. San Fran over the Raiders. San Fran's pretty much a lock for the 3rd seed. That's what I'm thinking right now. Jets with a surprising win over the Seahawks. Vikings with a win over Green Bay in Lambeau. Chargers over the Rams. Bengals with a surprising win over the Bills. But not so surprising if you've been watching the Bills as of lately. Alright, so That's what your board should look like right there. Now here's where things get interesting. Week 18. We beat the Saints. Philly beats the Giants. And in a surprise upset, here comes Washington over the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys won't have all their starters in. See, they think they've got the 5th seed locked up. Either the 5th or the 1st seed locked up, so they're not going to play all their starters. This is where Washington is going to have a huge advantage because they're playing for a spot. That's where Washington sneaks in. Now, watching this picture right now, you can see the Lions are still 7th seed. But that's about to change very quickly with a Green Bay win. If that should happen, which I don't think it will. So I'm picking the Lions. It's going to be a shootout in Lambeau. Bengals over the Ravens. Vikings over the Bears. Bills over the Patriots. This will be the one time I believe the Bills will actually beat New England. They've got the weaponry. They've got the strength. There's no excuse why they should lose to New England again. Unless it's rigged. And the thing is, like, all these trips that they've taken it to play New England, and they still can't beat them. Even with a loaded team. And it just baffles me. But anyway, Colts over the Texans, they're awful. Dolphins over the Jets. Let's just go ahead and assume the Steelers beat the Browns, even though it won't matter. Chargers over the Broncos. Chiefs over the Raiders. Seattle wins that game over the Rams. Doesn't matter at this point. San Fran locks up the 3rd seed with their win over the Arizona Cards. Alright, so here is the critical game right here. We've got first place. You can see it. You can see it, folks. 8-9 record. So, now, if Tampa Bay wins this, we still get it. There's a tie for first with Tampa Bay. If the Falcons win, we've got a full game lead over the entire division, and we win it outright. So, yes, we want a Falcons win in Week 18. Absolutely we do. If that happens, we're set. So it'll depend on that new quarterback that Atlanta has. Alright, so remember this Falcons and Saints game right here? This is where I told you this was important. We're going right back to it. Now imagine if the Falcons win this. We're tied up with Atlanta for first place and we win. If the Saints win, we take it outright. This is why I keep telling you, Atlanta's got one more loss that they can afford to take. One more. That's it. And the odds are pretty doggone good that they're going to take it. To the Saints. I would bet on it. Either the Ravens or the Saints. And I would bet on the Ravens game that's going to happen. They'll probably beat the Saints, which will be fine, you know, because we'll still have the division lead. But this is where this starts to make a difference right here. Ravens, Week 16, beat the Falcons. That's a key game right there. That's the one I want y'all to pay attention to. I'm circling that one. Because that directly impacts our playoff spot. Now, here's the interesting thing. If the Eagles somehow this is a very interesting situation here where you got the Eagles and Dallas. Now I'm trying to find a scenario where the Eagles end up in 5th seed and Dallas ends up in 1st. So bear with me for just a minute here. The Eagles do need to lose 2 games to make that happen. Shout out to Andy Bailey. How you doing? Cowboys ain't losing to the Jags, so that's a win. Eagles. What are the Eagles doing in Week 15? They beat the Bears. That's not going to happen. I gave that one to Dallas already against the Eagles in Week 16. So Week 17, what are these 2 teams doing? Eagles beat the Saints. Texans beat Cowboys beat the Titans. Well, folks, it looks like we may be facing Dallas first round. And that's not a good thing. I don't like that. In Week 18, here's where things get interesting a little bit more. You got Dallas and you got Washington playing each other in Week 18. That changes from 6th and 7th seeding here. Giants, Bears, Dallas, and Giants are left for the Eagles. I do believe the Eagles can beat the Giants. The Bears. Hold on. I misread that. Okay, so the Eagles, right? They can beat the Giants twice. They can beat the Bears, but I don't know if they can take Dallas. I don't think they can. That's where I kind of draw the line there for them. Even so, that's a 3-loss record for them this year. And that's pretty doggone good, except for the fact that this is a soft schedule for Philadelphia. No one's really impressed. And what I'm saying to you is, even if they have home field advantage in these playoffs this year, don't expect them to go further. I don't see them going further. Which is where this Lions team getting in makes a difference. Makes a massive difference. Because if the Lions play the Eagles first round, that's an automatic loss for the Eagles. First round knockout. And the Lions could beat the Vikings. So that is a divisional round win for the Lions. And then they play whoever ends up in the NFC Championship against us out of these last 4 teams, which will be Washington, San Francisco, Dallas, and us. Now here's the interesting thing. If Dallas beats Washington in Week 18, the Lions instead go to 6th seed. They play the 49ers. So, epic game right here where the Lions, probably the top offense in the league, faces the best defense in the league. Who do you think's going to win that battle? I'm curious to find out. I'm actually fascinated to find out. Because both of these teams are really, really good. But we'll see. We'll see. Either way, we're going to have to go through Dallas. It's not going to matter. And as strong as Dallas is, whew, man, I don't know. That might be an early first round exit. It might be. So to speak. Because Dak is playing well. Unless Dak has like a 180 this year, man, and I don't see it happening, then that's going to be a huge 50-50 Titanic battle in the first round. We somehow get past them. Then we've got to deal with either San Francisco, the Lions, or Washington. One of those three teams. I like our chances against San Francisco or Washington. I like them heavily against both of those teams. I think we can take either one of them at this point right now. Now, the Lions are the team that worries me. Because if we face them in the second round, if we somehow get past Dallas, then we got to deal with that prolific offense of the Lions again. And I don't think that's going to end well. Because they're going to find holes in our defense. Especially with Dante Jackson out. That's where they're going to attack. Is the linebackers and CJ and Keith Taylor's side of the field. So as long as our safeties do their job, we may actually have a shot in that game, but I don't know. God, I don't know. This playoff path is going to be very, very complicated. So, I mean, that is best scenario right now. And if we get past one of these four teams, or two of these four teams, it's smooth sailing from there. That's how I feel right now. But we got to get through these two teams. We got the hardest playoff road so far. Which we're used to that, man. We're used to that. That's how it's mapped out right now. I can't guarantee it's going to stay that way. This is a very, very strange year in the NFL, so a lot of weird upsets are going to happen. But can we make the playoffs? Absolutely we can. I feel like these matchups are going to happen. And the teams that are going to win are going to win. But like I said, it comes down to about 4 or 5 key matchups that I pointed out so far. And if they go in our favor, we're in. And all we need is a seat at the table. We can take care of business from there. You know, this team is fully capable of battling anybody in this playoff picture right now. Now, whether we can win or not against Dallas, against Detroit, that remains to be seen. The rest of them we can handle. We can win. You know, and any given Sunday, man, any given Sunday, I see a lot of opportunities here. So, we're not done yet, man. We're not done. No, we're not done. I want this schedule written out as far as we can take it. Number 1, to get Steve Wilks in as permanent head coach. That's the main number 1 goal. It's bigger than draft picks this time. All right? This is bigger than draft picks. And I'm the biggest. If we knew that we were not going to get a good head coach coming in, I would say play for picks. But I do know that Steve Wilks is the guy. So, I want Steve Wilks in. Thereby, we write out this schedule. Number 2 reason, money. Money comes in through ticket sales, through food and merch, through PSLs, through everything else. People are starting to come back to want to watch this team that Steve Wilks is putting together. And they're going to come back in drones next year if we get to the playoffs. That I can guarantee you. You give Steve Wilks 1 year of successful drafting, free agency, trading, whatever he's got to do, and watch this team transform into something much, much better than what you saw under Matt Rule. I believe Steve Wilks can handle that last test, which is drafting and free agency. He's already proven he can put together a roster. He's already proven he can put together the depth chart. Check and check. I've already seen that. Show me what he could do while he's drafting. And he shares some of the drafting power with Scott Fitterer. That's what I'm interested in. Because between the two of them, we're going to get some home run hitters, man, no matter where we end up in this draft. So I trust Scott Fitterer completely in that department. Now that he's off the chain, man, this is what I'm excited for. You know, we don't make the Super Bowl, but like twice, you know, as far as appearances. As far as offseason goes, that is our Super Bowl. Let me tell y'all something. These drafts are our Super Bowl right now. Because we keep getting so many good players out of these drafts. Under Scott Fitterer and under Dave Gettleman back in the day. Now, y'all might have your reservations about Dave Gettleman. I already know that. But think about who he drafted. And how they fit into his system. Like a puzzle piece. Just think about who he drafted. You know? These were the right guys at the right time. And in the right ways. Yeah, they may not have lasted more than a year. But they were right for the position that they were drafted for. And they were used in the right way by Ron Rivera. These two had a plan back in 14 and 15, and it worked. They had a formula, and it worked. That's what I'm hoping will happen between Scott Fitterer and Steve Wilks. You know, if you put Steve Wilks in as head coach permanently, give him about a 2 to 3 year contract, let him do work, man. You'll see results. I promise you will. You know, we're in a situation right now where we got a cap problem. That's number 1 issue right now that's delaying us. Number 2, Wilks has to play out the rest of this year with what he's got. And, you know, he's got to turn this whole thing around with what he's got right now. He can't move anybody. He can't really do anything now. So it's either win or bust. You know, wherever we land is wherever we land with Steve Wilks. And I'm fine with that. Because, again, we're trying to permanently install him as head coach for 2 to 3 years. And the third thing that is blocking us, problem right now, because we don't know we got to solve that issue today with Sam Darnold. We need answers on Sam Darnold today. Which, to me, I'm not impressed by any of this quarterback draft class. I'm not at all. If you want a franchise winner, a franchise starter, today, out of these draft class people, you're not going to find one. If you're looking for an Aaron Rodgers or you're looking for the next Patrick Mahomes, you're not going to find that in this draft class. You'll find it next year probably. I think it'll straighten back out next year as far as the quarterback draft class, but it's a weaker class than it normally is. And do I like CJ Stroud? Yes. Do I like Bryce? Yes. But do I like him as an immediate franchise starter? No. No. Sorry, but no. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, and that's okay. That's fine. You can disagree if you want, but that's just my opinion. As I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion on this page and on this channel. We're a family. Let's keep it respectful, you know what I mean? But, me and you are not always going to agree. Me and the person viewing this. This live stream or commenting down below. You're not always going to agree with me. But as long as you see the bigger picture of what we're trying to build, that's what I'm trying to convey to you, to all of you today. I'm trying to convey the bigger picture. I'm not trying to focus on just 1 year. You know me, man. You know me, ladies. I focus on more than 1 year. Okay, I see the bigger picture. I see within 3-year span. Okay? 3-year span. Thinking any bigger than that is too big. But 3-year span, yes. The decisions you make today impact you 3 years down the road. Every decision you make, whether it be just a simple cut off the roster, can affect you 3 years down the road. We've seen that. Right? So that's why my eyes are on that bigger prize, man. They're on the bigger prize. Alright, so let's quickly go over this Seattle depth chart. You got DJ Metcalf, and I'm hoping he'll get matched up with J.C. Horn, but I doubt it. If knowing how things go, I doubt it. So you got Charles Cross starting at left tackle. He was the last draft pick for this most recent year. Sorry, I'm struggling to find words at the moment. Just bear with me. Let's see. You also recognize Tyler Lockett. He's been doing really well this year. I'm not real impressed by that Seattle running game right now. But we do want to focus on it, and make Geno one-dimensional. Because he is a pocket quarterback. He doesn't have that ability to run like Russell Wilson and Mariota does. So we could use that as our advantage on defense. But either Lockett or Metcalf are going to hurt us as far as wide receivers go. Depending on who is still playing today. And we'll take a look at that injury report in a minute. So looking at the defense, you'll see let's see. Who catches my eye here? Nwosu. I think he catches my eye. 6'2", 251. 25 solo tackles, 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Yep. That dude catches my attention because you look at those numbers. He's got a couple of a few pass deflections early on in the first 4 weeks. But he started focusing more on sacks towards the end of the year. So you got about 4, 6, 7 sacks since week 6. So that's something we need to be concerned about, is watching out for him. Now, I don't know who he's going to get paired up with. That's the question. On blitzing packages, I don't know who's going to get paired up on him to try to stop the blitz. That's the main question right there, because he could be quite disruptive. He had a forced fumble against the Rams, by the way, most recently. But you're looking at a man that's got 24 total sacks in about 5 years of playing time. 11 pass deflections, an interception last year, 6 forced fumbles over his career, 2 fumble recoveries, and he's an open failed tackler. He got 100 solo tackles out of 177 total tackles this year. I mean, that to me right there says we need to watch out for this dude. He's a very dangerous individual on this defense. And he came from the Trojans, for anyone interested in that. The Southern California Trojans. I got about 15 more minutes here, so I'll try to make this quick. Another name that I want to point out is Tanner Muse. Now, a lot of people aren't going to recognize this dude right away. He's from Clemson, and this name caught my eye. And I have a fascination with Clemson players because I'm a Clemson fan. So I know these players. All right, so 6'2", 227. He's a little undersized for a linebacker, 3 years in the league. Hasn't really done much, 3 solo tackles. But they got him involved this year and last year a little bit. But if he gets in, we can take advantage of that. He has some coverage issues, so I don't think that's changed in that amount of time, but we'll see. If the guy in front of him, which is Cody Barton, gets hurt, that could be very interesting. In short and medium passing. So if you see that, take advantage of it. That's just... Most of these guys I don't really know too well, but Bruce Irvin, of course, is one of the old vets that are still there. 11 solo tackles, 1 sack this year. Kind of slowing down a little bit, if you notice. Towards the last 4 to 5 years here, he's slowed down a lot. He hasn't played full seasons, and so. But make no mistake about it, this dude could still pass deflect. So don't make the mistake of thinking that he's not going to get something out of you. But he was a sack machine early in his years. You got 44.5 sacks for his total career. He's got 15 forced fumbles early in his career. 15, y'all. Jeez. 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery in his career early on. Dude was a monster. So, I mentioned him to say this. I am very, very glad he does not have the impact on the game that he used to have when he's playing against us, because that would be a problem. That would be a very big problem. I'm surprised Seattle is stuck with him. I really am. You know, seeing those numbers, seeing all that, maybe they're trying to get him to retire a Seahawk. Maybe. That'd be kind of cool. Al Woods. I do remember Al Woods. When does that name sound familiar? Yeah. He was deep in their depth chart back in 14 and 15 when they were really, really playing well. 12 years in the league. From LSU, 6'4", 330. And he's finally getting his shot. He's not really doing that much. As you can see, he's got about 2 sacks thus far. And 1 pass deflection. But, I mean, realistically, I'm not worried about him. Now, early in his career, with the help, you know, that Seattle had in their defense, you know, that monster secondary that they had, you know, he had a lot of help, and he was racking up some numbers back around that time. So, you know, mostly tackles. But once those players kind of left, and he ended up shifting around again, then it became, okay. Okay, so he was with the Titans, he was with the Steelers. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Okay, so this is not the same guy I was thinking of. I got you. But he's been with the Seahawks for the last 3 years. Okay. I got you on that. Alright. What's up, David Screws? Hey, man, looking forward to the game. If we win the game, give us momentum, and we are underrated at home under Wilkes. Next 2 games after Seattle is at home, so I'm pumped. Yes, man. They're actually away games. Actually, I gotta double check. But I believe they're away games. You're right. Pittsburgh. We can beat Pittsburgh.
The Carolina Panthers are back in action after their...
Yes, they are. They're back in action. And we can beat the Steelers. Again, I don't know about that Detroit Lions game. Of where the Lions might get seeded in the playoffs. They're looking to find out, you know, can Detroit's offense keep putting up those points against one of the top 5 defenses? Can they continue to do that this late in the season? So that's one of the things they're going to be watching, is that scoreboard for that game. Seattle's defense is not that great. We should take advantage of that. That is true. They've been spotty. And I started out the stream saying that. But realistically, I don't know much about these defensive players. Excuse me. I know Irvin isn't that great. Not anymore. What about their secondary? How good are their corners? 6'1". You got 46 solo tackles. You got a few pass deflections, but I mean 1 per game? Could take advantage of that. How many times were these guys targeted, though? That's the question I've got. Tariq Woolen, 6'4", 210, 34 tackles, 6 interceptions. Oh boy. That's a number that bothers me right there. That is a big, big number that bothers me. I don't like that. And if you're looking at the main games that he's played against, Cards, Saints, Lions, Falcons, Buccaneers, Rams, he's gotten... Wow, man. Wow. That's 1 per game. Sam, be on guard. This ain't gonna be a cakewalk. Be on guard, man. And he's a rookie from Texas San Antonio. 6'4", 210. So that's Tariq Woolen. Let's keep an eye on him. If we're not aware of where we're throwing this ball, keep that ball away from him. As much as possible. Ryan Neal. Let's learn more about him. 6'3", 200 pounds, 36 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 sack, 1 interception. That sounds pretty interesting right there. Yeah, the majority of his numbers against the Chargers, though, with 4 pass deflections and a pick in that game, with 7 tackles. So I'm more interested in watching out for pass deflections than anything else with him. He'll allow some passes, but I think he's more interested in pass deflections than... Yeah, Ryan Neal's a former Falcon, too. So that's an interesting thing to note. 3 years in the league, Southern Illinois. 26 years old. So let's find out about Diggs. What do we got here? 5'9", 197. Man, he's small for a safety. Look at this guy. He's basically a skeleton. In Texas, 8 years in the league. But the numbers rack up, man. You can't deny that. 31 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 picks. Not too shabby, dude. Granted, you got 2 of those pass deflections against the Raiders, but still. And 2 picks against them. But still, not bad. Not bad numbers. You know, you roll through them. You got about 332 solo tackles out of 467. Not too shabby, man. 47 pass deflections over his career. About 3 years where he really racked them up. 3 or 4 of them. 21 interceptions for his career. 5 forced fumbles. 1 fumble recovery. Alright, so it's the interceptions I'm concerned about because he's had a bunch recently. Let's keep an eye on that. Alright, so let's try to keep that ball away from Diggs here. Number 6. So be looking for number 6 out there. Let's keep that ball away from him. Injury report. Let's quickly go through it. I got a few minutes and then I got to dip. I can go as far as 10, but I don't want to push it any further than that today. Because I do have other stuff to do. Okay. DJ Dow. Goodwin with a hand injury. Unspecified. That's an interesting one right there. There's a lot of unspecified on this list. Huh. I mean, I don't really know what to make of that. That is really strange. Are they getting game status or not? You can kind of assume from the full practices that some of these guys will on Thursday and Friday. And if they were limited on Wednesday, that will probably be a probable. You got Kenneth Walker with an ankle injury. You got Disley with a calf injury. Ryan Neal, the safety, knee injury. Homer with a knee injury. Lucas, the offensive tackle, with an elbow injury. Bruce Irvin, knee, and they're resting the player. Jordan Brooks, neck injury. Al Woods, knee injury. We listed him before. Here's the big one. I'm not worried about Poona Ford with the hamstring. I'm not worried about Cody Barton with the groin. I'm more interested in DJ Metcalf with a hip injury. Limited practice on Thursday. Did not practice on Friday. Ooh, so we might not even have to deal with DJ Metcalf today. We might not, folks. Hold your breath, man. Hold your breath. We might only have to deal with Lockett. Woo! That's going to be a big relief right there. And then we got Geno Smith. Right shoulder injury. Limited practice, full practice. Alright, so we will be dealing with Geno. Alright, so, like I said before, make him one-dimensional. Make him a pocket passer because he's not a runner. Let's force him to beat us through the air. He won't be able to do it. Our secondary is too good. As far as ours, alright, so we got Corey Littleton with an ankle injury. Did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Limited practice on Friday. Questionable. I don't think we'll be seeing him. Remember, we're taking these injuries a lot more seriously now. So these guys are getting more rest than they normally would. Which is good. Because we want them to get back to 100%. We want them to get back on schedule. Alright, so Foreman, foot injury. Did not practice on Wednesday. Limited practice on Thursday. Full practice on Friday. No game status, which means he'll probably play. It'll be good to have him back, man. Brian Burns, knee injury. Limited practice on Wednesday. Full practice on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, he'll play. He'll play. Icky, knee injury. Limited practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Full practice on Friday. He'll be in. Which is good. Marlos Hartsfield, ankle injury. Limited practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Full practice on Friday. Questionable. I got a feeling we're going to see Hartsfield. I got a feeling. Iniditis, calf injury. Limited practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Full practice on Friday. Questionable. I don't think we're going to see Iniditis. Because we haven't seen him in the last couple weeks. He's been battling that calf injury for a little bit now. So, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. If not, heal up quickly, man. Richie, neck injury. He's been battling that for a while, too. Limited practice on Wednesday. Full practice on Thursday and Friday. He'll be in. We'll need him. Good. For blocking purposes. Mostly. We throw it to him every once in a while, but mostly he's there for blocking on sweeps and counter plays and stuff like that, screens. Xavier Woods, knee injury. Limited practice on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now that's the one that concerns me because we need Hartsfield to come back in if Woods is not going to be able to play. So I'm a little concerned about that one. We're going to see how that goes. Chandler Wooten, linebacker, illness. Did not practice on Thursday. Full practice on Friday. He'll be back. All right. We rarely even We don't even use Jalen Wooten anyway. Alright, so frankly, we're getting everybody back, man. I wouldn't count on Matthew Ioannidis, but the rest of these guys, I think, will be back in. So you'll see more time for Hartsfield than you would for Woods back there. I'll have to check our depth chart and make sure of who's behind Woods. That's what I gotta double check. Oh yeah, Burris would get more time if Woods can't go. Oh yeah, we're set, dude. We're set. We still got Jeremy Chin in. Oh yeah, man. And TJ Carey is a new addition to this defense, and he fits our system. He plays the 4-3. Oddly enough, I've actually recruited him on a couple of my Madden teams, you know, because he fits the system, and I tried him out a little bit. He's kind of one of the third string practice squad type guys, but you know, when you need an extra corner in a pinch, and he's a cheap guy, there you go. We got CJ starting at left corner, and we need TJ in a pinch here because we're in a pinch. But you got JC Horn, you got Keith Taylor on the other side. Like, see, this is why I say we need to draft a third corner, because of situations like this where you have to rely on CJ Henderson, and I don't think he's that number 3 guy. I think he's a number 4 or 5, you know, on the depth chart, when you really stretch it out as far as talented guys go. So, you know, to me, that's where my brain is at the corner position. I don't know what y'all are thinking, but that's where I'm thinking. But I do believe a corner should be drafted this year. You know, to solidify that corner's room, and make sure that we don't have to rely on CJ as much. And Keith Taylor is not really it for me, man. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's played a little bit better throughout the season, but he's just not it as far as I'm concerned. And I think we could do better, you know, drafting wise. So let's go to the chat real quick, and then I'm probably going to dip out of here. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about unless you guys think that there's more to cover. And then real quick before I leave, you know, I'll let you guys know what games to keep an eye on this week and who to root for, based on the playoff picture. Bruce Irvin was a beast for us a few years back, a peg, man. So we need that one. Looking forward to seeing Henry Anderson. Feel bad for the guy. He had a stroke. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I wanted to address that, and I wanted to address Frankie Louvu too, real quick. But first, Henry Anderson. My thoughts and prayers go to him right now, because strokes ain't no joke, man. And, you know, you hate to see that happen to such a very, very talented guy and such a great individual. And it can happen to anybody, man. You know, be mindful of your health. You know, this goes beyond football. Be mindful of your health. Because, you know, it's scary. It's terrifying. So, and this dude's got a second chance at life, man. Let's see what he does with it. You know, all the tests came out good, you know, so let's see what he does with it, man. That's what matters. When you get that second chance, take advantage of it, man. Live your life. Help people. Pay it forward. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people miss that boat, you know, before they have these strokes and these heart attacks and stuff like that, man. And when they, you know, it's crazy, man. And then when they have those, it's like their eyes are open and they're like, wow, you know, what are we going to do with this newfound life of ours? How are we going to treat people? How are we going to live? How are we going to, well, you know, how are we going to pay it forward? And Frankie Luvu didn't even need a stroke to understand that message, because he lost his brother to, and he is trying to push the suicide prevention awareness and stuff like that foundation. I saw that earlier this week and it amazed me, man. And God, man, my thoughts and prayers go out to him as well and his entire family and friends. That's, man, it just sucks to have a family member that is suicidal, and you know, you're trying to do what you can, but some people just don't know how to live their life, you know. And I've had depression for 2 years, man. Trust me. I know what it's like to get down into those depressive dark holes. And it's not a fun place to be. And suicide, you can't come back from that. And I wholly salute Frankie for this, man. I love this dude for this. You know, there's so many people that don't come back from this, and this is one of the few times I'm actually struggling to find words on these streams, man, because this is one of those serious issues that goes beyond football, and it's just, it's hard to talk about. It is. And, you know, if any of you guys are feeling that, you know, depression or any of that stuff, man, go seek help. For real. Go talk to somebody. You know, don't let this be the last time you talk to somebody that needs that help. Reach out. For real, reach out. What you could be is alone when you feel depressed or you feel like you can't go on anymore. That's the worst thing that you could do to yourself, is be alone. Don't let these people be alone, man. If you're in that zone, seek help. Please. Please, I'm begging you. Please. Life is precious, man. You only get one. And you gotta live it the best way you can. And I understand life is rough out there, man. It is. This world's getting worse. It is. But, you know, you can't lose sight of that hope. You can't lose sight of that hope, man. There's still hope out there. For all of us. If you give up on that hope, then, you know, seek that help out, man. For real, seek that help. And mental illness and depression and all this stuff is not a joke. It's dead serious. It's dead serious. I wish I didn't have to spend time on this on the stream, but it's important. You know, so if anybody needs it, please, please, please do reach out. My DMs and PMs are open to anybody that needs it. For real. Wide open. Anytime. I will talk to you. For real. And if you feel like you're one of those people that's been through a pressing time or a deep dark hole, and you need somebody to understand and empathize with that, I'm here for you, man, because I've been through it. I can empathize with that stuff, man. For real. You know, I've been there. So, I'm more than happy to talk to anybody that needs it, bro. For real. Like, that's just the type of person I am. But, I kind of wanted to address that and make sure that's out in the open. But yeah, positive thoughts going into this day. You know, David Screw says prayers for Frankie as well. Black Poppy says prayers. Spirit of Sports says I'm here if anybody needs to talk. That's what's up, man. That's what's up right there. We're a family. We take care of each other, right? We're a crew. That's what I'm talking about, guys. I'm proud of this community that we've built together, man. I'm very proud of it. Because this is how a family acts right here. You know, we don't get out of line. We don't treat each other disrespectfully. You know, we stay chill. You know what I mean? Yeah, we get some heated debates every now and then, but we stay chill. You know what I mean? And that's what's up. That's what I'm proud of. That's what I was trying to build here, man. And I love that. It doesn't matter how many people we get up in here. It's who gets up in here, you know, and how they act, you know? And we're all great human beings up in here, man, and we're respectful of each other. We're respectful of each other's opinions, and it's, man, who wouldn't want to join this crew, man? Who wouldn't want to? You know, at this point. What's up, Kenny? Shout out to you. He's been on here. He's a Patriots fan and, you know, a buddy of mine, so just want to give him a shout out. Is that your page, Spirit of Sports? Is that the one that I just saw on YouTube? But yeah, if we end up playing New England, I'll get him up in here in the Zoom chats or something, and we'll chat it up. But go support his pages. You know, he's trying to get things going too. I support all YouTubers of any type. You know, whatever you're doing, whatever's working for you, keep doing it. I respect the hustle, man. You know, that's what it's all about. Respect the hustle. No matter what you do. And the way you do it. It works. You know? And any of y'all are welcome to come up in here and chat it up with us during these streams. We'll be glad to have you. You know, if you want to schedule a stream with me, we could do that. Just hit me up in the DMs or PMs. I'd be more than happy to do that. Beyond that, happy vibes, man. Happy vibes. We're getting a win today, guys. We're getting a win. Just last second. Let's, key games for today are our game against the Seahawks, Tampa against San Francisco. We're rooting for San Francisco. The Lions and Vikings game. This is what happens if the Vikings win. It knocks the Lions out. So we want a Vikings win here in Detroit. That's very, very big. if that should happen, we're in the money. Because we got the Giants, we got Washington up in here, and we got a clear path after we get through with Dallas, if we could do it. So that's a big game right there. So yeah, that's about it. Appreciate y'all coming up in here. And as always, man, stay happy, healthy, or well. We love you guys. If you guys want me to do a stream after 2 p.m. before the game starts, we could do that if you wish. And just do open topic if you want. That is up to you. I have covered everything that I can cover today. But you've seen the picks that I have for today. Bills over the Jets. Bengals over the Browns. Cowboys winning. Eagles over the Giants. Pittsburgh over the Baltimore. Titans over the Jacksonville. KC over the Broncos. I've got the 49ers beating the Bucs. I've got us beating the Saints. I've got the Dolphins winning. And I've got New England over the Cards. Those are my picks for this week. Hopefully they pan out. Because that gives us our best possible scenario right there. 8-9 with Atlanta. There you go. Alright, let's go. You know what time it is. Let's keep pounding, baby. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing holding us back from success, and keep it moving forward. Keep it moving, y'all. Keep it moving.
Watch football.
Y'all already know.
Live and cable free.
Let's get up out of here, man. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Let's get it, man. Keep. The watch party is at 4:25. 4:25, folks. 4:25 on Zoom. See you guys there on Facebook. Watch for the ID and password to be put on Facebook. Thank you guys very much. Keep pounding.